I'll never forget the look on Karen's face when she opened her front door that Thursday afternoon. Two police officers stood on her pristine porch, one of them holding up a small device. Yours? The officer asked, his tone neutral, but firm. Behind Karen, clearly visible in her immaculate foyer, sat a stack of unopened Amazon boxes. My boxes? Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water, her perfectly highlighted bob haircut swinging as she shook her head in denial. But the evidence was right there, and we all knew it. Let me back up and explain how we got to this point. I moved into Oakwood Estates about 8 months ago. It's one of those suburban neighborhoods with matching mailboxes and strict rules about everything from grass height to what color you can paint your front door. The Homeowners Association runs a tight ship, and standing at the helm was Karen Wilkins, HOA president for 5 consecutive years, and self-appointed neighborhood watchdog. At first, everything was fine. I'm a software engineer who works from home, so I tend to keep to myself. I follow rules, keep my lawn trimmed, and generally try to be a good neighbor. But about 3 months after moving in, I noticed something strange. My Amazon packages started disappearing. Not all of them, but enough to make me wonder if I was losing my mind. I'd get the delivery notification, but when I checked my porch an hour or two later, nothing. After the 5th missing package, I contacted Amazon customer service. They confirmed delivery with photos showing the packages at my doorstep. The representative was sympathetic but could only offer refunds or replacements. This is happening more and more these days, she said with a sigh. Porch pirates are getting bolder the next day. I brought up the issue at our monthly HOA meeting. Karen, seated at the center of the board table, with her color-coded binder and disapproving frown, dismissed my concerns immediately. We don't have theft issues in Oakwood Estates, she declared, adjusting her designer glasses. Perhaps you should consider retrieving your packages promptly, instead of leaving them as is. Our covenant clearly states that deliveries shouldn't remain visible from the street. She smiled, that tight-lipped smile that never reached her eyes. Something about her response didn't sit right with me. I wasn't the only one ordering packages, but somehow I was being singled out that evening. I installed a small discreet camera above my front door, technically within HOA guidelines, since it was the same color as my door trim. I also called a buddy who works in security. Sounds like you've got a neighbor problem. Not a random thief problem. He said, why don't we set up a decoy package with a GPS tracker inside? If someone takes it, we'll know exactly where it goes. The plan was set. I ordered an inexpensive Bluetooth speaker and told my friend when it was scheduled to arrive. He came by that morning and carefully installed a small tracker inside the package, resealing it so perfectly no one would know it had been tampered with. Then we waited. Sure enough, at 3:14 p.m., I received the delivery notification with a photo of the package at my door. I was in a video meeting, so I couldn't check immediately. When my meeting ended at 4:30, I went to retrieve the package and found nothing. I quickly checked my camera footage, but strangely it showed no one approaching my door after the delivery driver left. This was getting weird. Had someone found my camera? Was I dealing with a professional thief? I pulled up the GPS tracking app on my phone, and what I saw made my jaw drop. The package was moving all right, but not far according to the tracker. My stolen speaker was currently sitting just 3 houses down and across the street at Karen's house. I double-checked the coordinates, zooming in on the map to make sure there was no mistake. The blinking dot remained steadily in place at 1423 Oakwood Drive, Karen Wilkins' address. I couldn't believe it. The president of our HOA, the woman who sent out violation notices, if your holiday decorations stayed up one day too long, was stealing my packages. It seemed too absurd to be true, yet the evidence was right there on my screen. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I called the police non-emergency line and explained the situation. To my surprise, they took it very seriously. Mail theft is a federal offense, the officer explained. And if she's been doing this repeatedly, that's a pattern of criminal behavior. We'll need your tracking data and a statement about the previous thefts. 2 days later, I got a call from Detective Rodriguez. They had been quietly investigating and discovered that several other residents had reported missing packages over the past few months, but hadn't connected the dots. The detective asked if I was willing to help them catch Karen in the act. We're going to need one more tracked package, she explained, and this time we'll be ready to move as soon as it goes missing. I agreed immediately. The next day, I ordered a pair of hiking boots expensive enough to be tempting, but not so expensive that I'd be heartbroken if something went wrong with the plan. When the package arrived, the police had already installed another tracker inside. I received the delivery notification at 2:26 p.m. and texted the detective by 3:15. The tracker showed my package had moved to Karen's house. I watched on my phone as two unmarked police cars quietly pulled up near her home. From my front window, I could see the officers approach her door, one of them holding what I assumed was the tracking device. When Karen opened the door, I wished I could hear what was being said. Even from a distance, I could see her face transition from her usual look of smug authority to confusion, then alarm. She stepped back, gesturing wildly with her hands as the officers entered her home. 20 minutes later, they emerged with Karen in handcuffs and a search warrant in hand. More officers arrived and began carrying out boxes, at least a dozen of them, all still sealed with shipping labels. Clearly visible, neighbors began to gather on the sidewalk, watching in disbelief as the HOA president was placed in the back of a police car, her perfectly composed facade completely shattered. I made my way over as the officers were cataloging the recovered items. Detective Rodriguez spotted me and waved me over. "We found all 7 of your missing packages," she said, pointing to a stack of boxes with my name on them. "But that's not all," she gestured to the rest of the hall. "We've got packages here addressed to at least 8 different residents. She wasn't just targeting you. She was stealing from the entire neighborhood." Karen saw me standing there and glared through the police car window, her face contorted with rage. I simply nodded at her, not feeling any need to gloat or say anything. The evidence spoke volumes. Later that evening, Detective Rodriguez called to fill me in on what happened after they took Karen to the station. Apparently, she had been stealing packages for nearly a year. Her justification: she claimed she was protecting the neighborhood aesthetic by removing unsightly deliveries from porches. But the unopened state of the packages told a different story. She had been keeping everything she stole, hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise, all while citing residents for minor covenant violations. The charges were serious mail theft, a federal offense, plus multiple counts of petty larceny, because the total value exceeded $2,000. She was also facing 1 count of grand theft. The detective informed me that Karen was looking at potential jail time of up to 5 years and fines that could exceed $10,000. The very next day, I received an email from the HOA board. An emergency meeting had been called, and Karen had been immediately suspended from her position, pending the outcome of her case. The email included a formal apology to all residents affected by her actions and a promise to review all violation notices she had issued over the past year. 2 weeks later, Karen appeared in court for her arraignment. I attended along with several other neighbors whose packages had been recovered. She had hired an expensive attorney who tried to argue that she had been collecting the packages for safekeeping, but the judge wasn't buying it. The prosecutor presented evidence showing she had opened several packages and was using the items herself. The judge set her bail at $20,000 and scheduled a trial date as she was led away. Karen caught my eye one last time. The entitlement that had always defined her expression was gone, replaced by something I'd never seen on her face before. Fear. She finally understood that her actions had real consequences, consequences that her position of power couldn't shield her from for someone who had built her identity around controlling others. This loss of control was perhaps the harshest punishment of